Hey, welcome to our September virtual class. Thanks for getting our at-home box. Today it's sort of like a back to school, do something for yourself type theme. So I have these beautiful wildflower bunches that we got from a local farmer right here in the Grand Rapids area. And I'm just sort of gonna go through the flowers, what types they are, and how to sort of put them in a vase. Look at this, that is beautiful. All of that, gorgeous. So let's get started. In your box, now your bunch of wildflowers is going to be a little bit different than what I have. Everyone's is a little bit different, but that's the cool part. So you are going to have some nagi, we've used this before, and some Floral, lemon leaf. That's what we're going to use to sort of base our vase here. But let's go through our flowers because that's the fun part. So you're going to have a bunch, and they're going to be tied with like a twist tie. So just get it out of your bucket or your water pack, cut that off, and just drop it right back in, or your sink, or whatever it is that you're going to be using. We're going to go through these sort of one by one, so one, you know what they're called, and if there's any special things about them. So let's start with this. Yikes. This is called Sweet Annie, and if you're lucky enough to have this in your bunch, it smells so good, so good. And this is a great foliage, so we're going to put it over here with our foliages because that's when we're going to use it. Oh, look, there's a stripe here. All right. Now, delphinium. We've used something like this before. This is grown locally, like I said, so it's not quite as full, but it's beautiful. As I'm going through, delphinium is a line flower, so we're going to sort of separate into line flower, mass flower, and filler flowers. Line flower. Again, more delphinium. We want to clean off any foliage that might go in the water. This is even a little low, so you know the best part, throwing it on the floor. And more delphinium, line flower. Let's see here. This is status. It's in a beautiful like hot pink color. This is a filler. There's more filler. Sedum. Sedum comes green and sort of pink like this. I would consider this more of a mass flower, and a mass flower just usually has like one bigger head on the stem, so it gives you a mass impact, if that makes sense. Let's say it does. Here's more sedum. Status again, but white. Oh, look at that. More status of this pink color. These bunches, you guys, are beautiful. If you happen to take the class last year, there was not as many flowers. We were really lucky. She must have just really wanted to give us a deal. Zinnias. Zinnias are so beautiful. Oh my gosh, they come in so many great colors. Again, this is a mass flower. So I'm gonna just pull out all the zinnias here. Look at those colors. Aren't those beautiful? La 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 la. Zinnia. Dahlias. There's lots of different types of dahlias. There is button dahlias, super cute, adorable, love them. Mass flower. And then there's bigger ones like this. This is actually called the Cafe au Lait. That's the variety, and it's really popular at wedding times, but it's so beautiful. This is just a regular white dahlia. I forget the name of it, I apologize, but it's pretty, so we'll call it pretty. Another button dahlia, and see, as I'm going, I'm taking off all my foliage on my stems. And one more button dahlia. Beautiful. Oh, look it! There's another dahlia. That color's great. There's so many flowers, you guys. I'm so excited. You are going to love this. All right. This is amaranthus. It comes upright, which this would be considered upright because it's upright. But there's also called hanging amaranthus, and they're usually like double in this size or more, and they will like droop, and they're gorgeous. They come in this burgundy, a red color, like a bronze color, green, super great. And these grow really well here too. This I would consider a line flower. Now we have celosia. That is this. And this is actually, there's a couple different types. There's what's called feather celosia. Pull it out of my design here, which is like this, just very feathery. that back. This is called fantail celosia because it's very like a fan. And then there is one more kind that's called brain. And it's almost like a ball, but it has all these really cool little crevices, so it looks like a brain. Filler flower. If you heard that, someone in planters just broke something, and it's funny. More status. Oops. More sedum. My gosh, we're still going through this. This is so great. Oh, look at that yellow zinnia. Love it. All right. Looks like we also have some local grown sunflowers. Oh gosh, look at them. Look at all the different sizes. And it's all about when they cut them, at like what stage they cut them, but I mean, come on. This is a mass flower. Lisianthus. Whoa. This is really popular a lot in weddings and such because it gives this beautiful, like ruffly appearance. Sometimes it looks like a nice garden rose. And it comes in all colors too, this pretty lavender. This also would be considered a mass flower. The last thing in my bucket here is a marigold. I love marigolds. Some of the designers don't, but they're silly. They do smell like a marigold. So when you're cleaning all of your foliage off there, it's gonna smell. I like it, so. And this is also considered a mass flower. All right, so that's our selection of stuff. I mean, how wonderful. So let's grab our vase. Make sure you're putting water in it, nice, clean, clear water. And we're just gonna start with our Floral. So as we've done before, remember we want to creatively cut. We don't want to have any foliage in the water, like so. Now see, these have like some little hungry caterpillar. So up to you, remember this is your design. I would take that off because it looks like there was a hungry caterpillar. Still going here. We don't want to overfill this with foliage because we have a lot of flowers to put in, but we definitely want to make sure that there's enough that it's going to hold everything together. So one of the things we've talked about before, if you remember, is like lacing or crossing our stems. So as I'm going in here, if you can see this stem, see how I'm going through and I'm crossing those other stems? That is like lacing, and that's going to keep everything together so that when you pull it out to change the water, it should stay together, and it just helps the flowers to interlock with each other. More hungry caterpillars, get rid of that. So that's enough Floral. And I have some nagi for you. Again, remember creative cutting. Stripping all of the foliage off that's going to be in the water because we don't want bacteria. I know sometimes people are like, it's such a waste. It's really not. The longevity that you're going to get from removing all of that is what's going to be great. So just a few pieces so it gives an extra texture, extra movement. This is a little short for the vase. We want to make sure, remember, everything's in water, but I am going to use it because I want to, and that's enough. All right, now we're going to our Sweet Annie, and we're going to use it like a foliage because it's like what it is. And now back to creative cutting, remember? So I'm going to cut here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have 5 insertions I got out of that one piece. I'm just going to go ahead and stick them in. Remember, fresh. Cut with your nippers or your knife right before you put it in because you want it to have a nice way to drink some water. See how I'm turning my vase and making sure it's even all around. Okay, so there, that's our foliage. So there's a couple different ways you can start. Some designers like to start with filler, some like to start with their focal flowers or their line flowers. So So it is up to you, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with my sedum. And the reason I'm starting with the sedum is because it is a mass flower. It's gonna take up some room, so I don't wanna have to shove it in later. But also, it has a really nice stem so that when I go into lace or cross, this is gonna be an extra sturdy stem to help that. So there's my sedum. I mean, I like it already. Alrighty, let's now go to our line flowers. So for line flowers, right, we have delphinium and we have amaranthus. We're going to, typically the line flowers are nice to be out the top because they really help give height and impact, but if you have enough of them, a lot of times they can go all the way out, so it just depends. I am going to put this amaranthus a little bit lower because see how it folds down like that? And then because I want to be equal with my color and my color weight distribution, I'm just going to go across from that. So see how everything is even? If I have 3s or 2s, however, we want to make sure it's balanced. Alrighty, let's do our dahlias next. I'm going to start with my bigger dahlias. I forgot to tell you, because I think I got sidetracked. There's button, regular, but there's also dinner plate dahlias, and I'm not joking, friends. They're like as big as my face. They're so cool. If you ever see those in a field, it's awesome. All right, so I'm going to put my dahlias in. And remember how we think about the thirds of a pizza or a peace sign? That's what we're doing. Doo-doo-doo. So there's my big dahlias. Man, there's so many beautiful things in this. I'm going to save these ones towards the end because they're just really nice little buttons and they'll be able to fill in little holes better. So let's go on to our sunflowers. Now I have 5 here and I'm just sort of picking at my larger ones that are going to go closer to the rim of my vase. So here's my bigger one, right? I'm going in the vase, trying to cross my stems. And the reason I'm picking the larger ones is, again, back to that visual weight. If I had smaller ones down here and bigger up here, it's going to look top heavy. So I put those 2 sunflowers sort of opposite my amaranthus, right? But I have 3 left. So now I'm going to come up with all 3 of them. Thinking again about my peace sign. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. So now our yellow is also pretty evenly dispersed. Let's see, what do we want to do next? Let's do this Lizzie Amethyst. Now, there's only one, but it's gorgeous. So we're just going to find a nice hole for it. I feel like we could use it. And a couple of these. Now, see, look at this piece. Totally can creative cut that, right? I'm going to cut it right here. And now I have 2. Because my stem is long enough, that's going to go in the water. Go ahead and cut it. Let's see. There we go. One more. Just love that. Let's go ahead with our marigold because there's just minimal of those. Right here looks good. And it's really just about turning your vase, seeing where the holes are that you could, put a flower. We don't want to cram too many things in one space, right? We want everything to have its own space so it feels like it's got a home and it's not crammed in there. Slow show, oh my gosh, this stuff is so pretty. Looking for my holes, and I'm looking at my color. This is the same color as my amaranthus, so I want to disperse that also. I don't want to put it all together because then if you're looking at your vase from the other side, you're not going to have anything in that color. Okay. Perfect. You can see how down there all my stems, there's like no foliage, they're all clean, they're crisscrossing, wonderful. All right, let's go to our zinnias. Oh, These are so pretty. The nice thing about the zinnias is they do have a really nice stem. So fresh cut. And see how putting that there helped to round out my space? That's one of the nice things about the zinnias. How gorgeous that is. I just love the orange ones. All right, one yellow left. We'll put it right here. There we go. These beautiful dahlias that I was saving to the end. They have a great turgid stem also, so they're nice to use at the end also because their stem is so stiff, I guess is a better word, turgid, that it can go right through all your other stems to help cross, and it's not gonna break too much. That's the hardest part, you know, getting all these flowers in here, make sure that they're not breaking. So the last thing I have is my status. Back to creative cutting, right? Take off my foliage. I'm gonna cut right here. 2 pieces. 1, 2, and I want this layer color. And this is just a jam-packed vase, you guys. This is gonna last you for quite a couple weeks. It should, as long as you're keeping your water fresh. It's gonna be great. And realistically, there is enough things here that you could do 2 vases. So if you had an extra vase at home and you wanted to do one for you and then give one away, totally could do that. Nice, 2 more, oh, 3 more pieces. Let's come up a little bit. See how I'm filling in these holes a bit? So it's just helping it to look rounded. There we go. What do you think? Isn't it great? So this is something, if you're going to the farmer's market or anything like that, that you pick up a bunch of flowers, separate them, clean them, try to get them evenly dispersed. It'll be a beautiful thing for you to have on your table for quite a while. Last thing is making sure, like I said, to fresh cut and give it fresh water. So every couple days you want to make sure if it is drinking a lot that you either add water or, now see by me lacing all of this, look it just came right up. I would dump this, put in my clean water, little cut, and I'm talking like maybe a 1/2 inch at that, and put it right back in. Beautiful, huh? All right, now it's your turn. Go ahead, have a blast. Thanks for coming.